Ever been working on a project and wondered, is there a better way to do this? This video's for you. Hey creative friends, it's Gwen, and today I'm testing viral card making hacks you need to know. You all loved my hacks video so much that I've spent even more time searching YouTube for the very best techniques and ideas to make your paper crafting easier than ever. I've chosen hacks that will work on lots of different kinds of projects because if I'm going to try something new, I want it to work on everything. No paper craft left behind. I'll be putting each hack to the test, showing you exactly how they work, and I'll give them a star rating because star ratings are fun. You'll see which ones I loved the most and know exactly which ones you should try too. Now, I wasn't totally convinced that all of these would work, and there's one that surprised me. It gave an old supply a whole new purpose, and now I'm kind of obsessed. I'll get to that in a bit. First up, I have a clever hack that's a big help if you're using up tiny paper scraps. If you have trouble holding your smaller paper scraps when working with them, you're not alone. This is particularly a problem for me when using them in my trimmer or with my paper punches. There's a super quick and easy fix for this. You can use a post-it note to create a handle. Simply attach the post-it note to your paper scrap. You'll then be able to easily place it inside your paper punch. This works for all kinds of paper punches and lots of different sizes of paper scraps. It will give you so many more options for the paper scraps you have lying around. Of course, I also had to try this with my paper trimmer, and yes, it works a treat. The one thing I found was that I did need 2 post-it notes, and I needed to put my paper scrap in between them. Otherwise, the stickiness of the post-it would stick to the bottom of my trimmer. It's as simple as adding the sticky note to your paper scrap and then punching away. The best bit is you can use the sticky note over and over again. This hack gets 5 out of 5 stars because it's simple and it works. Chances are you already have sticky notes sitting in a drawer, so pull them out and give this one a try when you're next creating a card or a scrapbook layout. This next hack is especially for frugal crafters. You're going to love this. So there's this idea that you need lots of different color choices for embellishments like sequins and die cuts to ensure you have what you need to complete your project, to make sure that everything coordinates beautifully. But that's not true. One of the most economical ways to have perfectly coordinated supplies is to color them. And one of the best ways to color them is with alcohol markers. I suggest buying a bunch of supplies in plain white and coloring them. Things like sequins, buttons, enamel dots, and even washi tape. Today I'm using my Ohuhu markers to do this, and I've chosen a selection of colours that perfectly coordinate with a collection from Pink Fresh Studio. I found it easiest to work one sequin at a time and to use my reverse tweezers to hold them in position while I colour. I tested a range of colours to compare them to the white sequin, and you can see the results here. Next up, I want to see how the colour looks on this washi tape. You will get the best results from washi tapes that have a very white background like this one, and I'm going to use the 2 darkest colours so we can see the dramatic difference the colouring will make. It worked a treat, and I can see this working on lots of different embellishments. Simply colour them as you need them, and they will perfectly coordinate with your project. This hack's not just for small embellishments. My favourite way to use them is colouring in stamped images to create embellishments like these florals. I stamped a bunch ahead of time, and now I'm ready to add my colour, knowing that I can perfectly match them to my project. And if you don't have alcohol markers, I've heard you can try this technique even with a Sharpie pen. I give this hack 4 out of 5 stars. The only downside is that you do need to invest in those alcohol markers, and it's better if you have quite a good range of colours. If you already have those in your stash, this hack is an absolute winner. This next hack is for card making and mini albums, but will be very handy anytime you want to perfectly align 2 pieces of paper. It's great if you have a bunch of single-sided papers you're trying to use up. Simply use your School Buddy or Misty stamp tool to align them. Position the first paper in the corner and then layer the second one directly on top. Be sure the papers are sitting snug into that corner and they will align perfectly. And guess what? It doesn't just work on squares and rectangles, it also worked perfectly for this circle. I'm going to try this with other shapes too. This hack gets 5 out of 5 stars because I know I'm going to use it a lot. I also know that so many of us already have stamp positioning tools in our craft spaces, so it's one extra way we can use that tool. What's even better is that this hack will actually help with the next hack I want to share with you. Before I share that, if you're enjoying this video and would like to get extra crafty content from me, I'd love for you to join me on Patreon. I share there bonus content, exclusive SVG files, and my step-by-step project sheets. So if that sounds like your thing, check the description box because I'd love to have you join me. Did you know you can create simple shaker pockets with your dies? Let me show you how. It's time to pull out those simple shape dies you have in your stash, and you want to lay out 2 of them together like so to create a frame. You will be cutting out several layers of these, 5 in fact, and each layer needs to be identical. To ensure this, I've taped my 2 dies together and then run this die cut piece through my machine 5 times. Once you're happy with your frames, you can then separate your dies. We will still need to use the largest one. There are still 2 more cuts to make. This first one will be the base for your shaker pocket, and the second one will be from acetate. I would recommend taping your die to the acetate piece with washi tape because you will need to run it through your machine a few times to ensure a clean cut. You could also try adding a shim because these dies aren't really designed for cutting plastic, more so paper and cardstock. And here's where that previous hack comes into play. I'm going to use the corner of my School Buddy to perfectly align all of these layers. First up, you'll need to layer 4 of the frames together, making sure that there is glue around all of the edges. Next, I'll add an extra detail to the base. These are the florals I coloured earlier. I'm simply going to add this onto the background there and cut off any excess. That's looking good, so we can continue to build the shaker pocket. I'll position the base layer down first and then add these layered frames on top. Remember, this is 4 layers of those frames all glued together. Using the corner of the School Buddy really does help things stay really well aligned. It's time to add in the sequins and then on top, place the acetate sheet. So at this point, you should still have 1 frame remaining, and we're going to use that to tidy up all of our glue. Of course, you can see the glue when you place the acetate sheet on top. Don't worry, because that last frame is going to cover that up beautifully. To ensure your sequins stay nice and secure, make sure that you're adding glue to every part of the frame before you put it in place. This is for all of the layers. You don't need a lot of glue, but you do need it along each and every edge. I love how easy this is, and it makes a really professional looking shaker pocket. It's so cute. I want to put it on a card right away. I've already put in a lot of work here, so it's not going to take very much to pull this card together. I'm starting with a large embossing folder. This one is from Altenew. As always, I'll share links to the supplies I've used in the description box below. I do want to trim down the base just a little, but there's no measuring happening here. I simply position the shaker pocket where I think it should go and then estimate how much needs to be trimmed. That looks about right. To embellish the card, I have coloured in a second set of florals and I'm going to layer them on top of the florals that are inside that shaker pocket. I'll secure it in place with foam tape for extra dimension. It's time for a sentiment and I am going with a simple hello. I'm never really sure what to choose when I'm creating a card in advance. I don't know what occasion this one is going to be sent for, so it's always hard to choose which sentiment to go with. If you make a lot of cards in advance, I would love to know what your favourite sentiments are. Let me know in the comments which ones you think are the best. Things are getting serious because I'm gluing stuff down. All I need to do is center the shaker pocket and that's the card complete. Except to give it a little shake, 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 of course. I give this hack 5 out of 5 stars because it gives my simple frame dies a whole new purpose. And you know I love it when a simple supply can be used in a new way. In the past, I've loved adding shaker pockets to my cards and scrapbook layouts, and I know this is going to make that so much easier. Don't put your simple dies away just yet because you are going to use them for this next hack. Think simple squares, rectangles, and those banner style designs. I'll be working with dies from Pink Fresh Studio and Scrap Diva Designs. I can't wait to show you how this works. The simple idea for this hack is to stretch your dies so that you can use them on larger projects like scrapbook layouts. To do this, you need to make several half cuts of the die. So this first one, you're cutting halfway along the die and you'll be left with something like this. Next, extend the die up and cut from the opposite direction, again, only cutting halfway through the die. The first cut that I made was the bottom banner piece, and now this second cut is the top part of the banner. Comparing it to an original die cut piece, you'll see just how much longer I've made it. Let me try to make an even longer one. For this first cut, I'm cutting the banner piece as close to that top edge as possible. This second cut, I actually only want to use the piece of the banner that's long and straight, so I won't be cutting the top or the bottom. This is precision cutting here, so I am going to lock it in place with some washi tape. As you're putting it in position, you can actually feel when it's in the right place. It's hard to describe, but the pre-cut section does still fit into the die slightly, so that's when you know you've got it right. So this is the second cut for this particular die, and I am making sure to just cut that middle section. So my top cutting plate is actually not covering the top of the die there. It's positioned slightly lower than the die so that that section will not cut. I noticed here that I took it ever so slightly too far, so there is a little mark there from the bottom of the banner. Not to worry, we will press on. I have scooched the die up once more, and now we'll cut just the top section of the die. What I should end up with now is an even longer banner piece. And yes, there are now 2 marks there, but I actually think that's user error. I don't think that's a reflection of the hack. I feel like that's something that I could improve on when I'm doing this more. Practice will make that better. I think I actually tried this with one of the more complicated shapes, so let me try this with a rectangle. I want to really extend this rectangle out, so I will cut it lengthways, and I've actually cut 3/4 of the way down the rectangle shape. I'll then scooch it up and then cut from the opposite direction and see how this goes. I found this shape a lot easier to work with than the banner actually, and I love the results. I give this hack 5 out of 5 stars. What a clever way to get even more use out of a very versatile set of dies. If you loved these hacks and are looking for even more, be sure to watch this video next. It's full of hacks you'll love, a little confusion, and one hack that really surprised me. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. I'll see you all again very soon. Until then,